Hey guys, it's Josh. I want to share with you a really cool book I had called The Soul of Indian by Charles Eastman. Really powerful book about spirituality of the American Indian, written by a Sioux in the kind of late 1800s, early 1900s. I believe he was born in like 1850s and kind of lived into about 1939. Powerful little book. I had an e-copy of it. I tried to check out several copies from the local library, and each time I did, it turns out that they were excerpts from the book and not the full book itself. Finally, I found a copy off the Gutenberg Project. I'll try to put a link in the description of the video that kind of talked about, provided the entire book itself, which was phenomenal. But one of the really cool things about it, one of the reasons I'm talking about it, is that Eastman really kind of shares a lot about how the Native American, their value system, what they were, and kind of understanding their culture, which was so different than our own culture, so different than the European culture. And a lot of people missed it. They couldn't connect with, what was happening. Even though a lot of the value system of the American Indian, or specifically the Sioux, which was Eastman's tribe, there's like 573, 74 tribes. So there's a lot of different cultures. But taking the time to actually pay attention to what's going on at those places. In the Sioux culture, there was a lot of talk of the Great Mystery. This was kind of the unifying force, creator force that kind of guided all things. The trees, the animals, the suns, and all the things, according to Eastman, were never really deities in themselves, but they were kind of connected to the human. They're kind of souls in the places that we can be, like kind of our brother tree or grass or earth, and understanding the relationship there. It reminds me of St. Francis when he talks about the same deal, brother moon, sister sun, and animals, and all that kind of stuff, and realizing that we are part of creation itself. And that's what Eastman's trying to pull out and highlight, is that there really was these qualities of love and care and peace within the Native American culture that got missed a lot of times. And then, well, quite frankly, as the white European kind of moved in their territory, there was war between the two different places. And a lot of times religions got used as a negative weapon against them, which led to conflict. And that actually was one of the things that Eastman pulls out, was that he would read the scriptures of Jesus, and Eastman did go and follow Jesus. He was convert to Christianity. His brother was a Presbyterian minister. He had a lot of experience with that, with Christianity, and he loved Jesus. He's like, I love reading about him and calling out with some of the things that Jesus did. He found the distinct distinction between Jesus and a lot of the Christianity kind of pastors and some of the religious institutions of the day that was almost more concerned with money and with wealth and fame and all this other kind of stuff than actually following Jesus. And I think that's critique that Jesus himself had at that time against the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and those other elite, other religious elite that was trying to use it as a hammer against the people. The prophets of old, and Isaiah and Ezekiel, and all these guys had the same critique, where as followers of Jesus, when we get to a certain point, we got to be careful that we're not starting to use our position or that religion to hurt people. Instead of saying, wait a minute, we got to time out, let's use our influence to help people out and to be able to point them on the way of Jesus, being careful of the attraction of material things. The Desert Fathers talk about this, as well as Eastman in his book, Soul of Indian, how the material, the gaining of material items can be harmful to our soul, because they will then take possession of us, and then we become beholden to them. That's why greed was such a kind of a negative thing. One of the cardinal sins of the Roman Catholic Church in the Middle Ages was that greed that took over. It's hard because our consumer and our economy right now is built upon, buying things and spending money instead of stopping. It is hard to fight against that, and it was hard then, it's hard now. But I think Eastman kind of calls it on the hammer, hit the nail on the head when he says, wait a minute, material things isn't it. Let's go back to Jesus. Let's lay aside some of our religiosity. Let's focus on the words of Jesus. Let's love each other, love peace, and let's walk forward into life, taking care of those people who are less fortunate, and just know that the way of Jesus is there. So, again, powerful things. It is written from a different cultural view, so there are some things in there that might tweak some people, but I think he actually has a lot to say for us today, 100 years later, and it's worth reading. So, check it out, Charles Eastman, again, The Soul of an Indian. Try to find the actual book, not the excerpts. Excerpts are cool, but it's really cool, I think, the value to the author and read the book. So anyway, take care. God bless.